Hi everyone, Mr. 3D Hero here, and welcome to today's latest loadout video. In today's loadout video, it's going to be another faction leader idea, and today I'm going to go with Ash. Now Ash is a well-known faction leader within the multiplayer. She is cool, cunning, silent yet deadly, and I thought it would be quite amazing to build a loadout based around her. Now it's not going to be 100% because I'm not sure what type of weapons and gear she uses. This is all just my imagination of what she could potentially use. But considering that she works for Vision Dynamics and the majority of weapons and gear in game are built from Vision Dynamics, I thought, why not just use majority of those weapons and gear to base it around her loadout, and hopefully it could work out within my favour, or it could just be a complete and utter mess, like majority of my loadout videos. But anyways, let's go into the main loadout. Because you probably may enjoy this, or you're probably going to want to adapt and change this to your own playstyle. So the class I tried to go with is Phase Shift. Now, although Ash is a stim pilot, just by looking at her model, I decided to go with Phase because it allows me the extra amp time to reload my weapon. Now my main primary weapon is going to be Coldwar, and it's kind of like EPG, except it's not as strong and powerful as EPG, but it can do a lot of damage. However, it's incredibly slow on reloading speed. This is where my Phase Shift kind of comes into it. Now I won't have a lot of ammunition, so I need to use my shots and be as precise as possible with my shots and make sure that I use them correctly and effectively. If, for example, I'm in a tough situation where an enemy pilot is coming at me and I don't have any more time to fire my next shot, I can go in my Phase Shift, and this will hopefully give me a small but good amount of time to reload my Coldwar. And if everything plays out within my favour, then yes, I can go ahead and then finish the opponent off. Or if not, like most times, I'll probably get finished off because the Coldwar sucks because of its reload speed. Except for that, it's quite great when you're above ground at all times. My second weapon now is going to be with my Elite. Now this isn't something that is commonly seen by Ash or any Vision Dynamics person, but I decided to go with it as it kind of allows me to take out pilots from long distances as well. So it's kind of like a mini sniper, or so I say, kind of like a mini crabber, so that it will allow me to take out pilots that could be camping on rooftops or camping in buildings and such, because with the Coldwar, my shots aren't going to be 100% accurate while I'm on the ground. I have to aim at a specific angle, and even when I do shoot at a specific angle, the shots don't do enough damage to the pilot. Now if I was in the air and I was using the Coldwar, it's fair game for me. But when I'm not in the air, I'm on the ground, I'm quite vulnerable. So this is where my Wingman Elite will come out. It will basically allow me to survive most 1v1 situations, and will allow me to pick off pilots from long distances and on buildings and camping areas. So basically, I have a loadout that is basically designed for the majority of all engagements. You're still going to lose, like always, but it still gives me a chance to fight back at best. My boost now is going to be Amp Weapon or Tip Mines. Now, either one you can go with. Boost you can generally go with whatever you like, but I chose to go with Amp Weapon simply because of the fact that it increases my Coldwar and it basically increases its kill potential. So every time I'm in the air, instead of my shots basically doing a small amount of damage or not doing enough damage to kill the pilot, now with Amp it's always going to be a guaranteed one shot, as long as my shots are always going to be near the enemy pilot. In close range, if I'm going to use the Coldwar with Amp in close range and on the ground, that is kind of hazardous and it's gonna be a guaranteed one-hit kill. However, in close range situation, there's always a chance that you'll probably end up killing yourself doing this, so I always recommend that you try to stay in the air as long as possible. When it's amping the Wingman Elite though, it makes no difference, so don't worry about that. Mainly use this if you're in a situation where you're on a streak or whether you have the higher advantage, and hopefully you should be having the higher advantage because you should be staying in the air as long as possible. If Amp Weapon is not your thing and you feel quite confident with getting your one-shot kills, then go with Tip Mines. Now Tip Mines are quite clumsy, they're not that 100% effective compared to all the other boosts. However, if you throw it into an area that is quite chaotic and you know there's enemy pilots there, they are quite hazardous to the point of causing enough chaos for you to get in and kind of clean up. So if it doesn't kill the pilots in one shot, they should be injured or down in health enough for you to come in and clean up with your Coldwar. And it may work, or it may just be completely useless. But like always, you can always decide on your boost for whatever you like to be. Your Titan now is going to be Ronin. Now, if I remember right, Ronin was actually manufactured, or I should say built from Vision Dynamics. So this kind of fits and suits Ash in a way. And also, Ash is kind of seen in the campaign using Ronin as a main Titan. So I thought, okay, might as well go with this specific Titan as well. Now, you can customize your Titan for whatever way you like. I decided to put Nuke Eject on simply because of the fact that it allows me to be quite great with crowd control. And since my majority of my loadout is based on explosions, I might as well just, accompany it some more. However, you don't have to go with that. You can go with, I believe, Overcore and Broadsword. That there is a combination that is very deadly, very lethal, but very high rewarding, depending on how you use your playstyle. Your pilot kits now could be fast regeneration and low profile. Or if you don't want to go low profile, you could go with Titan Hunter. Titan Hunter is quite useful. However, this only works if you're doing damage to a Titan. And since your secondary weapon isn't a anti-Titan weaponry, you have to be relying on your Cold War. Now, your Cold War does do damage. Not a lot of great damage, but it does do damage. So you will see me in most clips where I'm shooting at Titan with the Cold War. And it does help in some cases, as it allows me to take out Titans that are doomed. And it also allows my teammates to actually move up and kind of push back the enemy to the point of where I can drop in with my Titans and then hopefully go in and clean up after them. And then lastly, your ordnance is going to be the Gravity Star. Now, Gravity Star is going to allow you to improve upon your aim so that in case you do miss your shots, it's always going to be redirected by the Gravity Star. And any poor pilot or gun that gets caught up in the Gravity Star is basically GG for them. So gameplay wise, I would say that it is, I'll say this is a really fun loadout. Personally for me, I never used the Cold War whatsoever until now. Cold War was a weapon that I've heard a lot of bad stories about, and I just couldn't get my head around to actually using it. Like the EPG was a weapon that I kind of had problems with, but I played around with it and I got better at it and I enjoy it every so often. The Cold War, on the other hand, was a weapon that I just did not click whatsoever. And that was simply because of the fact that when you're firing with the weapon, one, your shots aren't going to be always a guaranteed chance of either injuring or killing them in one go. And two, your reload speed is absolutely slow, so this puts you at a major disadvantage against others. But in this gameplay here, the best way I found to be effective with this specific weapon and loadout is to make sure you stay in the air as much as possible and use your Cold War and try to predict where enemies are going to be going to. If you think the enemy is coming directly at you, shoot before that happens. That way then, they'll basically run into the bullets or projectiles and this basically net you a number of kills. Try to stay off the ground as much as possible. But if you do end up in a situation where you're on the ground, switch to your Wingman Elite and hope to God that your aiming actually comes in handy for this situation. If it doesn't, then you can switch to your Wingman Elite. If it doesn't, you can switch to your Cold War. And sometimes, 50-50 cases, your Cold War does kind of finish opponents off. But that only works if they're already low on health and if it's a direct shot. If it's not a direct shot, you're kind of in a tough situation. However, this is also where your phase shift tends to come in as well, as your phase shift will allow you to get out of danger more often. So this basically allows you more breathing room and for you to actually react much quicker. Now if I use Stim would have allowed me an extra boost of speed, an extra boost of my health. However, it doesn't last that long, and if the person has a sticky aim on me, there will be genuinely no point because they'll most likely finish me off by the time I actually try to get out of the situation. With phase shift though, this basically allowed me to get out of the situation and give me enough breathing room to use my Cold War and try to get myself into a higher elevation within the area. Or if not, I can try to actually get out of there and save myself some trouble. If everything does go as planned and such, usually you should be, staying above in the air, getting another kills with grunts and against pilots, you can then drop in and use your Ronin. Now Ronin is great for cleaning up pilots and he can be completely chaotic against Titans that aren't incredibly fast or aren't incredibly well known for thinking ahead of what they're doing. So this could be against people like Legion or Ion or Scorch. These are type of Titans that are incredibly slow, and depending on the player, this could be quite easy kill or a relatively slow kill. Now you can go with Nuclear Eject like I previously said before, but Nuclear Eject is kind of 50-50. I've noticed that it's only effective if you're kind of sneaking up on players. If you really want to do damage, go with Overcore and go with Broadsword, and maybe as well for your boost, go with Battery Backup. This will hopefully push your core meter all the way to 100%, and then you can go in and cause absolute much damage. With broadsword activated, every time you doom or destroy a titan, it basically resets your core meter. So you can go off and do a number of damage against titans, and as long as they eject from their doom state, or as long as you destroy them in their doom state, your overcore meter will basically reset itself again. And if one thing I know for a fact, Ronin in overcore is absolutely something to incredibly worry about. If you don't have a titan, or if you're not in a team that's capable of countering Ronin in that type of situation, it's completely over for you. But in general, I can definitely say that this is a loadout that if you want to try out the projectile weapon, specifically the EBG or the Cold War, this would be a great start for you. It's kind of like a learning rope. It gives you everything you need. It will basically tell you that you need to use your phase shift, so phase shift you need to use effectively. Your Cold War basically allow you to have enough ample time and actually predict where enemies are going to be going, so you'll basically be able to plan out your attacks a bit more better. And if you mess up, you can use phase shift to get out of that situation. Your Wingman Elite is great for taking out pilots from long distances, so you don't have to worry about having on one-on-one engagements where a person is using the R201 or such, as you've got a great chance of taking them out in 2 or even 1 shot. And your Titan Ronin is great for learning how to be really aggressive when you possibly can. With the right perks for Ronin, you can be completely devastating and quite supportive for your team. If not, then you can always change to something else. However, I tend to stick with the current perks that I've just mentioned, and they actually work. But like I said, on most maps, it may not work, and against most players, it may not work whatsoever. So this will be up to you to kind of experiment and see what kind of plays out within your favour. So that is the end of the video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then leave a like, a comment, and subscribe for more. If you didn't, then by all means leave a dislike. I understand, and I know what to improve on in the nearby future. So once again guys, thank you all for watching, and I do hope to see you all again soon.